Welcome. Simple. I am not a person who will bring you on my show and I begin to waste your time. Protest don't start. The protest has begun. The question of the day is that those who are agitating for the protest, where are they? Before we proceed, I would have to give a regard, a maximum respect to Very Dark Man. Very Dark Man, finally, we have seen online that Very Dark Man has climbed a car and he has started agitating for the protest. Before Very Dark Man came to that position to start talking about, yes, we have to protest and all of that, and he had to carry the flag and says, okay, oh, we are protesting right now. Oh. There's a lady that came, they say she's Iyaloja. Rumor had it that she's kind of close to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Threats everywhere. Everybody is saying, do not protest, do protest, do not protest. I am also speaking from that two sides of mouth, protest and don't protest. What I actually mean by my own statement is to tell you that while you are protesting, make sure you are following the law and make sure you stay safe. But a lot of people have come online and everybody's just talking about, oh, you have to protest right now. And some of them are also coming up to say, don't protest. But for me, there's something I can see clearly right now. What I can see is the government playing certain tricks. And what are the tricks that I think the government are playing? In my observation, every TV station in Nigeria, channels and TVC that has been holding interviews with a specific individual called Omoyele Sowore. I believe he's not a novice to Nigeria. Omoyele Sowore is currently not in Nigeria, but is part of the people who have been talking about the protests, in fact, agitating that Nigerians should go and protest. He and his family, they are outside the country. Now, we all understood what happened with Omoyele Sowore stuff, with Buhari, you know, him being kept in jail for a while, simply because they said he's trying to begin a revolution. And I don't think that I am of any opinion to say that Omoyele Sowore does not deserve to stay back a little bit and relax himself. But when it comes to the part that Nigerian youth are about to start talking, protesting, fighting for what they truly believe in, and anyone who is energizing that, majority of them, in my opinion, are kind of stepping back. Because can we ask ourselves a question? What's the logic mind behind Nigerian youth go and protest? I am my family, we are in another country. Now, before I even hit on his own particular side, because Seun Kuti too, me too, I will talk about you, Seun Kuti. I don't know, I could be wrong in certain of my hypotheses, but basically to the particular stage I am right now, observing what is going on, I think there are a few things that we still need to touch on. First of all, I can see the government part playing their own role for people not to protest. And what are they actually doing? Every news who is interviewing Sowore kept asking him the same question. Why are you not in Nigeria to protest? Every channels, every TVC, every TV station who are conducting interviews, why are they giving more chances to the politicians and the senators who would not come to tell us what their viewpoint is on how to assist and help Nigeria grow? These people never came out for once. But we are in a time where the future of Nigeria is at stake. Now you will see senators having interviews, telling Nigerian youth not to protest. You will see Iyaloja that I heard, I don't know. Some people said she's kind of related to Tinubu. That might be rumor for me. I may not be able to do that fact checking. Hello, Rocky. Thanks for joining me. I might not be able to do that fact checking, but that lady came and she was telling people not to protest. A lot of the government people, senators, governors, everybody are just saying we are not supposed to protest. And what is the logical mind behind it for somebody from what do they call it, Abuja, saying that they are not going to allow protest, or the people shouldn't bother themselves protesting? I'm asking, what is the logic behind it? If the country, everyone is suffering, and the people are deciding to come up and speak up about their experience, and one particular state governor is kind of telling people that it is not right for them to come out and protest. Now I can see that they are using a particular method right now, and the method is to hold the particular guy called Omoyele Sowore to tell him that, Oga, you are telling Nigerian youth to go and protest. Why are you not on ground? Now, Omoyele Sowore said something that is very funny. He said, I am not around, but I am making everything possible to make sure that the protest continues. In 2018, they lied to us that there is going to be network and all of that here in Ogun State. Unfortunately, we've been waiting since 2018. Hopefully, they are going to get it right. But back to the subject, we are discussing about the whole stuff of the government playing pranks on Nigerians, not giving us, telling us every reason why we shouldn't protest. And I'm trying to understand the logic behind it, because it is two ways for us to see these things. If we have to resolve any problem in Nigeria, we have to be able to think with the two sides of our brain. One of it is that, why are the government agitating that the people should not protest? And they act as if they are afraid, like they are worried for the lives of Nigerians. They don't want the issue that happened in 2020 to repeat itself. The government is painting a narration that it cares about the lives of Nigeria, which it is apparent and very plain that it is a big lie. Please, if I am wrong, someone should correct me. If the government truly cares about the lives of Nigerians, why would they make life so difficult for Nigerians? You don't want to kill us with gun, but you want to kill us with hunger. Nigerian presidents are deciding not to kill us with gun. They want to protect us. They don't want us to die by guns. They don't want the law enforcement to start shooting everywhere like Rocky, like Commando. Sorry when I use the word Rocky, like Rambo. There's a movie they call Rocky where Rambo is shooting. So they don't want to kill us with guns, but they prefer we die by hunger. So when we decide, when Nigerians begin to decide that the hunger is too much, that we are perishing slowly by slowly, little by little, and we have to come up and speak our mind, now it became a bigger issue. Now the government want to protect us. Is that not funny? Despite the fact you can look at US, you can look at the situation that is going on with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Yes, people will talk about things are difficult over there, and I think things are very expensive there. But at the end of the day, majority of the Americans that you're going to see, they look chubby. That means they are eating well. At least some of them can actually eat what they want. I'm not saying America is better. I'm not saying they are doing more fine, but most Nigerians would rather sell their soul to be there. At least they can feed. At least the protection is there. Many Nigerians, no home for them, they have no house. Some of the bridges, under the bridge that a lot of Westerners would go and sleep, and they will say, oh, I am homeless because I don't have money to pay for my rent. That bridge is better than a lot of houses that Nigeria own, and they are sleeping inside that house. Because in some of the houses, you most likely will see cobra, snakes, you are going to see all kinds of snake, scorpion, and the rest of it, because there's no even money to fumigate the property. So is it not surprising that the government begin to tell Nigerian youths that they shouldn't come out to protest at this particular time? What is the logic behind it? Somebody said, he said, look at African having more sense than an American living there. That's a very big statement. Look at African having more sense than an American living there. Maybe you will elaborate so I can know what side you're actually coming from. And then I can share my own insights. It's a little bit cumbersome. But what I'm saying regarding the government of Nigeria is that every chance they have, they use it to disunite the country. Many countries are not united. Nigeria is not the first. Many countries are not united on many things. But the thing is that there's a possibility that Nigerians can come together and request for exactly what they want. And if they do, this is the reason why they call Nigerians the giants of Africa, because Nigerians don't take things serious. But if you awaken the giant within Nigerians, you are going to see hell. And the government knows it. But when they are aware of this, when the people keep talking, you are brutalizing us. We are not getting our money. We are not being able to feed. Our children are suffering. They would leave us and act as if they can't even see what we are talking about. Like we are just birds screaming in the air. But now the country has come to a point where they say, we need to let the government to be aware of the things. And they think that they are instilling fear into Nigerians. I don't know where the government, how our Nigerian government, how they think. Oh, how do you think that Nigerians are scared to die? Let's put it that way. What makes you think that Nigerians are scared to die? Do you think Nigerians were not aware of what actually happened in 2020 in the NSAS protest? Do you think that Nigerian citizens are not aware that people died in the 2020 protests? They are aware. Are there no videos to prove it? Did they hold the government responsible? Despite all the old petitions or the old letter that a lot of lawyers and a lot of people write, human rights and the rest of it, we have no result. Those people who have lost their life during that time, they died. People did not give their family anything. But the situation of the country has called that people's life, they don't even value their life anymore. They are willing to still die. Why? Because the hardship has gone beyond fear. This is not about instilling fear anymore. Now, I have a caveat towards it. My problem has always been that we have to be specific on what we truly want. I would not just like for Nigerians to just wake up one morning and say we are fed up of this without strategizing on what we really want, so that whatever we get will be able to sustain us for the nearest future. That's my take. That's how I have seen it. And this is the reason why I am not so much advocating that we go immediately and protest. And here are other reasons. Not quite long, we just talked about, what do they call it? Minimum wage. and they just increased the minimum wage, not quite long. And because they increased the minimum wage, Nigerians are so much aware of the government that even increasing the minimum wage would not change anything. In fact, the situation is going to get worse. And what is the proof for it? The proof is that the same fuel we were buying for 900 naira before they increased the minimum wage, now they are selling that same fuel for 1,300. As I speak to you currently, according to the news this morning, fuel has become 1,300. So they increased minimum wage to 70,000 naira and they increased fuel price to 1,300. Please, what is the benefit of the increment of the minimum wage? A lot of people who would work will still have to transport themselves. I cannot do a lot of things in my life without transporting. In fact, the environment we live in, none of us can actually do anything significant without transportation, which this doesn't have anything to do with me. Majority of Nigerians are in that same category. So the question is this. It's like there is a joy that the government have by seeing its people struggle. And I believe this, that even our masters who are the politicians and the government who like to see Nigerians suffer, in my own view, that is what their attitude has actually proved to us. It's like they have another master, and the master are those people who colonized. Because at the end of the day, whenever there's any struggle, these are the same people we run to. If we can remember vividly, during the time of COVID, which is the EndSARS time, we start calling the UN. Let the UN talk to help us. Nigeria wanted to collapse. Let the UN help us. Nigeria is a country of its own. We do not need the support of anybody. We should be able to handle the situations of the country because the things we have in our country is enough, so much enough to sustain the country. That's Debbie Murdoch. Okay. She said, I'm right. And I believe a lot of people who listen to what I say would definitely agree with my viewpoint. We know the truth in this country. We know that our government do not love the people. And it seems as if they are aware that the moment our lifestyle improve a bit, the devil is at work. When the devil hear me speak the truth, it disconnects my network. But that's not the problem of the devil. That's the problem of the organization I bought property from. And maybe some of it is my fault. Buying property from Arcview, who make promises and they can't meet up with the promises. Arcview Investments. And then they will take me to court for speaking about the realities of our life in the estate that we bought property from. They are even more worse than Nigerian government in my own experience. That's my own opinion, actually. Other landlords can speak for themselves. So let us go back to what we are actually discussing. Now, the suffering of the country is so much that people think that the alternative is for them to go back to the protests. Going back to the protests that we are being aware of that cost the life of a lot of people. But if we ask ourselves certain questions, before the whole thing that they started saying that Nigerians were burning places in Lekki and the rest of it, before that incident happened, it was basically that same night that the military, unknown military, came at night and started shooting the protesters. They called a particular general that time. They were interviewing him. They were saying this and that. Till date, we have no results of the whole issue. At that particular time, was it not Sanwo-Olu, or was it this other person? Was it not Sanwo-Olu who was going to hospital to go and look at the people who have been shot by the Nigerian force? They will say they are not on Nigerian force, but how does an unknown military enter into Lagos and start shooting people? They didn't do it in the morning. So why would they focus on the people who are protesting for brutality? Do you imagine how Nigerians think we are, Nigerian government thinks we are fool? Let us say they say they are unknown. So let us assume that those people who shot at Nigerian youths that are protesting, let us assume they are terrorists. They are not Nigerian military. They are not Nigerian forces. Let us just assume, put that. Thank you, Ms. Day. Thank you for joining me. Especially. Thanks for the donation. I appreciate. Back to the subject. If it was terrorists, if it was an unknown military that wants to come into our country, Nigeria, to destroy a protest, the question is, why would they want to do it when they know that the people are actually fighting and the possibilities that they want to remove certain people from power? And then the objective was for the oppression of NSAS. So we were fighting them, NSAS, and then unknown force started shooting at the people who are protesting. There is no logic behind it. If you are a terrorist, if you are sponsoring any terrorist organization, there is no logic behind shooting at innocent people who are protesting against the same government that you actually want to be out of power, or the same people who are actually enforcing rules on the people. So hypothetically speaking, the governments are aware of it. In fact, they brought out the general and they were telling us a lot of things. But at the end of the day, case closed. That's the beautiful thing about Nigeria. Regardless of what happened, they will close the case. Because certain people are just so powerful that regardless of the voices of Nigerians, we cannot make a change by crying. So now, the question is, why are they now attacking those people like Omoyele Sowore? Omoyele Sowore, why are you not in Nigeria? This is the only question a lot of them, a lot of news. And this is now showing that the media of Nigeria are actually bowing to the government. Sheung the other day, Sheung, the guy that was on channels, and Rufai Oseni, these are the only sensible people that I have seen in Nigerian television. The only two sensible people in Nigerian television that are journalists is Sheung. I've forgotten his full name. Sheung. Anybody who knows him can write his name. Sheung and Rufai Oseni. The rest of them are garbage. Because everything they begin to say is to find fault on why Omoyele Sowore is not in Nigeria to protest. Now, I am also coming back to Omoyele Sowore because I don't think one side. I like thinking on all rounds. So they are using this, putting it on media. This same individual has had countless of interviews just between a period of how many days that the protest is about to start. They keep interviewing him on all kinds of TV stations just to find points to say that he is part of the bad people who wants to put the life of Nigerian youth in danger. How are you guys so sure that there's going to be danger? Didn't you say you have the Nigerian police force? Didn't you say you have the soldiers? Didn't you say you have the DSS? Didn't you say you have all these things? And you use them anyhow you want to use them. So rather than you to think on how you can use them to align with the voices of Nigeria, rather you are finding a way to turn the tables around to say that certain people wants to put the life of Nigerian youth in jeopardy. And that's crazy. We might not be wise in Nigeria to articulate our words carefully, to organize ourselves, but that doesn't mean that we are completely stupid. And that's the problem of Nigerian government and a lot of people who look at Nigeria. You cannot underestimate Nigerians to think they are completely stupid. They may not be very intelligent. Their intelligence might even go into scamming, defrauding, and the rest of it. But some of them, and majority also, that I believe knows what to do, regardless of education versus indoctrination that has been put into our institutions. We are still sensible. In case you don't know what I just said, you cannot call a dog a monkey to Nigerians. We are smart to know 2 plus 2. We don't need to go to school to learn that one. So back to what we are saying. These are the systems that our governments are using to manipulate, to show us that those people who decide to be, what do they call them? Activists. Anyone who decide to be activists, these become the target of the government to find any mistake and any words they are going to say, and the government will use it against them. Any opportunity the government have, they want to take those activists out. And it is okay for them to want to do it. You know why? Because all our celebrities are garbage. All the musicians. They can only benefit from Fela. Whether you are Burna Boy, you are Wizkid, you are Davido, you are whatever they call all of you, first the bad guy, first the good guy, Simi, Adekunle Gold, and the rest of it. My question is this: why are you guys not even putting a song out to make the government understand that this is what the people are feeling? You can pass a message, not necessarily by we protesting, but you can sing about the hardship of the country and let the government feel it. The founder for you guys, Afrobeat, was an activist and is also a musician. You guys only took the music of the Afrobeat, and none of you are doing Afro hip hop, Afro jazz, Afro high life, Afro this, Afro that. The question is, why are you guys not even singing to energize the spirits of the youth who actually wants to go for something? See, I know something about the military. When the military wants to actually do certain things, they begin to sing. The purpose behind the song is to hype the spirits. No wonder they call a lot of people bloody civilians. Bloody civilians simply means civilians that doesn't know anything about the reality of life, about the dangers of life. The purpose of music is not just to entertain. Nigerians do not need entertainment right now. If your entertainment is not educative to help us achieve what we want, your music right now in the life of Nigeria is total garbage. I went on YouTube not quite long before I came on live. I saw Terry G. He said he has released an album. You will not sell. You cannot sell at this particular time because the people are frustrating. Is it people who have not eaten? Those are the people that you expect them to start streaming your new album online. And then you start screaming that Nigerians are not supporting you because you are not thinking. If you're thinking properly, you should have known that there's a time and season for everything. And the time at which we are, we need a song, or we need things that will push us towards the direction of having freedom on these fuel prices and the sufferings that Nigerians are going through. So most Nigerian musicians, in my mind, you guys are nothing to write home about. At the verse, that's why they blast everybody. Now, Omoyele Sowore, back to you. This is the problem I have been talking about. Why would you people always want to advocate that people should go for protest when you know you will not even be available in the country? This indicates psychologically that you don't take our life serious. It's just like you pushing us inside problem. Make una dey go. I have seen certain people play that tricks with me when I was fighting for people in this estate. They play the tricks with me. You go, what do you just keep going? And people think we are stupid even because we make a decision just to be good. People think we are stupid. We are not stupid. We see all the signs. You cannot take your family and your generation out of the country and tell we that are in the country to start a revolution. Even if you want to keep your family safe, we may understand. And the reason why we would understand is because anyone who has a name would be a target. In 48 laws of power, one of the laws there says, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. We understand that. We can comprehend. We are not too stupid to tell you that we would not understand that particular part of you. Because we understand the Nigerian government, how they play their game. That whoever is the leader, and that's the reason why you can hear statements now going on in our news that they are telling us that if you're a leader for the protest, you should come and drop your name. What does that mean? But let us just assume that our law enforcement are trying to know something. Because they are trying to know one thing, we wouldn't even give them. I wouldn't even encourage any leader of the protest to go drop their name. Because you can be so, you don't know Nigeria. There might be something you have done 19 years ago or 20 years ago. They will just carry it. Since your name is part of the petition, they will just go and open a case file for you. And that day that maybe you want to align your people to go for protest, you will be in police custody. I understand our government. I understand them very well. Maybe the grace I have is that I am not yet famous. That's why they haven't come after me. But we'll get there. We'll get there. This country, we must change it. That one is for sure. So if you people think you are happy that Fela does not exist, or Fela's children are not acting like Fela, Fela has poisoned the heart of some people. The poison I'm talking is influence certain people that regardless, even if his generations decide not to say anything again, we will pick up the battle and speak for the country. For example, Kuti, you too, you were advocating that Nigerian youth, everybody should stand up and go and protest. You're talking of the movement of the people, MOP. Very dark man has shown himself on live that he is willing to protest. That is a sign of a leader. No wonder a lot of them will be saying, we need very dark man, we need very dark man, we need very dark man. Why? Because you guys know you don't have the same courage he has. Why? Because you people think that he's stupid and he will put his life on the line. This individual has started carrying banner. At least we can see 2 or 3 people now who are willing to move the protest, and very dark man has started his own without any Nigerians with him. Not like we packed 50 people This individual start. Now the movement of the people, kuti. We haven't seen you on our own media where you carry your placards and you say you are activists. Omoyele Sowore, absence. kuti, absence. Daddy Freeze, I cannot worry about that one. The reason why I cannot worry about Daddy Freeze, everybody know. Because Daddy Freeze might even decide that he wants to speak on the subject of protest, and before you know, they will beat him up on the protest ground. Accuse him of the things they've been accusing him of. So I understand. And I also understand the fact that anything that will not put money into the pocket of Daddy Freeze does not engage himself with those things. That's his own identity. But kuti, MOP, movement of the people, you have people now. You and your people should have started playing the drum, hitting the drum, so that the people will be aware of what is about to come. Because if care is not taken, they are already draining the spirits of the people. The governments are already draining the spirit of the people not to protest with what? The ideology of fear. They think we are not afraid. They think Nigerian youth are not afraid. We are afraid. Do you think that when I come on live to speak about things that are going on in the country that are terrible, you think saying all these things, we don't have fear? Or you think Very Dark Man does not have fear? Everybody is afraid. But that is what courage is. Regardless of how you feel, you know what is right to do and you do it. That's what bravery is. That's what courage is. We are afraid. If you don't put Nigeria in the position that Nigeria find themselves, do you think people want to protest? With the experience of 2020, where you are not the one, but where the government make sure certain people die and they destroyed the whole protest stuff. We are afraid. I personally, I know the struggle that I have made, and I'm like, oh, if this protest begin, blah, 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 we don't know if we talk about this, what the Nigerian government will do, because they know how to crook up lies. They know how to destroy things. Before a twinkle of an eye, the government can just bring up one story, bungle me here, take me to Abuja. You know, they can just say, he said, just like the way this Arkview investment real estate, they said, part of their petition, they said, I said I was going to kill them. Now, when we get to court, they are not coming. That's how they are changing things inside petition, changing things inside courts. They are afraid. Witness, you know, the show. So, and Nigerians know this very well. Our government know this very well. The same thing they did to Omoyele Sowore the other time, that he was trying to cause a revolution or evolution or destruction. They just crook up one thing just to keep him down, not to be able to say anything. Till Buhari removed from government. Who does not know that our governments in Nigeria are evil? Complete savage in evil. But back to what I'm saying. Kuti, me, I don't know. These people are even doing more adverts. The people who are stopping Nigerians not to protest are doing more adverts, more interview on why we shouldn't protest. We that we are advocating for Nigerians to protest, we not going to talk again. Protest time don't reach everybody. Omoyele Sowore, Fiam, Yani generation, Wim, Kuti, MOP, movement of the people. We don't see anything. Daddy Freeze, forget that one. Mike on podcast, I clap for him. Mike on podcast is the Sheung guy, and Rufai Oseni. These are the only people, journalists, are even doing better than activists. Because in a protest situation, it is the activists that are supposed to energize the things, not the journalists. The journalists should be doing certain findings, but the activists should be pushing for the people to do what they are supposed to do, and the activists are the leaders at that particular time of the youth. They are not just the spokesman, but they are the leaders that will show them how they should go about it. But when we look at it in a complete package, if we look at it on a bigger scale, one thing we cannot agree on is we are faulty in one way or the other. Everybody, from the government to the people, we are all faulty in one way or the other. Somebody said something, say, do you know every activist? Why? I don't know every activist. I can't know every activist. In fact, I can have 1 million gig on my phone. I would not start looking for the name of different activists. But I know the ones that are famous. And because I know the ones that are famous, I think if they were the one advocating, which we have all experienced them, advocating that we protest, why are they not appearing when the time is already close by? There's activists for every state. Will I, in the 36 states of Nigeria, will I start going into each state to know who is the activist of Jos, who is the, at least the person in Kaduna, Kano, that they said the government want to bribe them so they will not protest in the northern area. At least they said that individual rejected it. Hopefully, they will not say that from 1,500, they will give them to 2 million naira. I believe if they say to 2 million Nigerian in the northerners, they will withdraw. Because at the end of the day, Nigerian government knows how to bribe certain individuals. Maybe the purpose why they are even asking certain leaders, that those activists who are leaders who want to take their own groups to protest, that they should drop their name. It might be that if they drop their name, they will give them, they will call, the government will call them privately, put money in their accounts, and before you know, they will start talking from 4 sides of their mouth, up, down, left, and right. That's how our government operates. That's how they used to. Maybe they've changed. But if nobody changed, did you people think Tinubu will change? Hypothetically speaking, no. I never get money, made them no go throw me for jail again. I never finish one case with Arcview Investment. Make you no be saying a president, now I go to follow fight. Because these days now, when you go to Ikoyi prison or something, correctional center, now so they call them, but now prison. And for the prison, is the, what did they call it? The manipulation and the corruption inside the correction center is even worse than the corruption of Nigeria. So I don't know what they are correcting there. But if you go there, you will see certain people have case with the federal government. I don't want to have such a case. But that wouldn't still stop me from saying what I think is the truth. Because at the end of the day, we have to tell ourselves the truth as Nigerians. So in a nutshell, most of us Nigerians are faulty in one way or the other. From the government to the law enforcement to, what do they call them, to the activists, to the journalists who are asking stupid questions. Journalists asking, Omoyele Sowore, why are you not here? Why are you not here? What are the sensible questions you guys are asking the individual? You should be asking Omoyele Sowore, okay, why are you not here? Number one, he can answer that. Then how do you think the people can protest without you successfully? What are the things that you have arranged so that the Nigerian youth will be able to protest? What would be your advice so that when they are protesting, they can protest peacefully, so that the hoodlums will not come into the group and mess the whole protest off? How do we make sure that these protests are peaceful? Those are the questions they should be asking Omoyele Sowore, not just asking stupid questions like, why are you not here? Why are you not here? If he's dead, won't we protest? When they are lying now and they are saying that it is one people, it is certain people that are sponsoring the protest, it is one government that are trying to sponsor the group. Hunger is the one sponsoring the protest. Frustration is what is sponsoring the protests. Fuel prices is part of what is sponsoring the protests. So if anybody is telling anybody that there are certain people who does not like the government of Tinubu, those are the people sponsoring the protests, it's a lie. The hunger in the land is the sponsor. The fuel prices is the sponsor. Increasing minimum wage to 70,000 naira, you never reach 3 weeks. They increase minimum wage. Before you know, they increase fuel price. What is the point of increasing it when you know you will increase this other one? It's like I rent a house to somebody. You are working and I know you're earning, your rent is 5,000 naira. And then I tell you that, okay, I know you are earning about 30,000 naira. And the moment I know that they've increased your salary to 60,000 naira, I say your house rent has become 20,000 naira. That means I am using the person's condition to mess the person's up, and I'm making sure that person does not grow, so the person will remain in that same position for a very long time. It is our poor condition that makes our own governments to be powerful. Maybe they are so aware that they are not supposed to make Nigeria better, because they know that the moment people can feed and take care of themselves, most Nigerians have something that is innate within their DNA that they want to make research of the whole world. Most Nigerians want to move, but these days we cannot even go to Ghana. Even to Cotonou, it is difficult. Maybe the idea is just to make sure that we all keep working like robots in the country. Maybe it's so that we can just keep serving them. No good road, no good water. Thank God, while I'm speaking with you, we have electricity. Before you know, I might just be talking to you in the next 2 minutes. They might take off the light. That is the reality of Nigeria. But here is the bone of contention when you look at the whole situation. Nigerians, no matter how we blame the government, no matter how we blame the law enforcement, because we know corruptions are in every institution. Religion, we don't have to talk about that one. No. Religion, we don't have to talk about those ones. Those ones are gods of corruption, because they use faith. They will use your belief to hype you. So you bring all your money, pour and throw it to them. And at the end of the day, they put it in their pocket, share the grace, go home, come back next week Sunday. You will pay. The real tax collector in Nigeria is not the government. The real tax collector in Nigeria are Nigerian pastors. Who collect tax more than Nigerian pastor? Show me one person who collect tax more than them. 10%. Even the government are not even asking 10% of your income. Maybe 5%. Monthly. They want to collect 10% weekly. And when I speak, some of them will say, hey, you're talking about God. God is going to fight. The God of what? The God of what? The God, I don't know which God you're talking about. Like, it is not the same God that creates the pastor that is extorting you, that creates me to be telling you that the pastor is lying to you. So what God differentiates us? The God of the universe. Is it not the God that creates a man that is sane, that creates the man that is insane? God does not punish anybody. It was in the Bible God used to kill people. God don't kill anybody anymore. In fact, after the time of Jesus, God has stayed in heaven. People have stayed on earth. God don't relate with anybody. Anybody who tell you that God spoke to me, lie. Now that Nigerians are going through hardship, what are churches even doing to support? And I always know these things about Nigerians because of the indoctrination, the infectious idea, according to Gatsad, that has entered into the Nigerian mental way of thinking. The moment you say anything that contradicts to their belief system, they will unsubscribe. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to my channel. I used to see them. I'll see that whenever I speak about religious things, most times about 2 or 3 people will unsubscribe. But I know that I want to build a relationship of people who knows the truth, who can accept the truth, and we can build on the truth. So if you like 2, go away. 10 will come back. 10 will come. Even some of them will go and they will come back again. Maybe they like me traumatizing them. I don't know. But the reality is, I am not traumatizing you. I am studying more than you. It was like a discussion I was having yesterday when we were discussing about Bible and the rest of it. Someone was telling me blah, blah, blah about Bible. I'm like, look at you. You have not even looked at the Bible itself. And if you look at the Bible, you don't have the complete picture. It is because you have half picture. When somebody do like this, one, and you have not been able to see that there's a difference between 6 and whatever it doesn't want me to say. Everybody needs to be held responsible in Nigeria, including the government, including the law enforcement, including the military, and including the people. There are churches that I know deeply engage in charity projects, building schools, universities, offer scholarship. I have been an eyewitness. Okay, this is Prophet Emmanuel Joel. I agree with you completely. But how many percent? Let's not even look at the percentage, because when we are saying percentage, it seems as if I'm just trying to find fault. According to your questions, that there are churches that I know deeply engage in charity project, building schools, universities, offers. I have been an eyewitness. I know that if I ask you which of them, it might be difficult for you to answer. And because it is truly difficult. Here is a big advice first, before I even proceed on anything. Whenever you want to buy property, you need to be very careful. It is the place I bought property that we are having network issues like this. And they are actually ruining every of my conversation. Well, alive, just taking time to hear me speak, and at the end of the day, something is disappointing them by disconnecting our conversation. I have gone to the highest mountain. Look at the ground, how far it is. I'm on the fence of my property just to be able to have network, because even my router is fluctuating whenever the weather is not strong enough. So back to Prophet Emmanuel Joel. I appreciate your insight on what you said, but you said they build charities, projects, building schools. And I'm like, which of them are building the schools? Which of the university? Is it the university that we have, that one pastor built in Nigeria, that is Covenant University, that is even expensive, that the what do they call it? The members of the church cannot even afford to go to that same university? Is that the university we're actually talking about? Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that there are no churches who do charity, but I'm saying, what is the mentality behind the charity? Because some people do charity, so it makes them look as if they are good, so that they can continuously extort people. This is how a lot of church operates. It is like the government. Whenever they want to go into power, they begin to go to schools to reelection, and they think they are not supposed to do anything. But whenever election is coming, they would now go and be taking care of those particular environments. That is a tactics. Because if we put it upon ourselves to take care of our people, this is not an issue of charity. This is an issue of dedication. We have to be dedicated towards certain things. Most of them would do charity, they would snap it, they would put it on whatever they have to put it, just to project it to the world that they are good, so they can get more members, so they can extort their members in the church, the congregation, and ask them to bring more money because they are actually doing projects. The question is, how many pastors are actually using from their own funds to actually help the people? Rather, maybe they make 200 million and then they use 3 million to feed people. Is that charity, or is that politics? Now, when you said eyewitness, you talked about building schools, project, and the rest of it, scholarship, and the rest of it. At least we should be able to have names of those people who are actually doing it. So at least I can even say, Nigerians, so go to this so church, oh, because these people are definitely going to help you. You know what I mean? If Paul the apostle have to speak and he doesn't call the name of Jesus, how do we know he's talking about Jesus? If James do not call the name of Jesus, or if John, who is a witness to the life of Jesus, cannot call the name of Jesus, how do we know that they are talking about Jesus? So if you're an eyewitness, you can give me the name. And let us do a little bit of digging on those particular people and see if their charity outweighs their sin, or if their corruption outweighs their charity. And then we are going to have the answers towards it. Charity does not mean righteousness. Charity does not mean giving if you are not dedicated to that particular, not dedicated to that service. That this is what I want to do with my life. This is my property. There are properties there. There are many properties in that place. I don't want to say what I am doing. I don't want to say what I'm doing. But when you are doing something within your heart, you are doing it regardless of if people acknowledge you or not. And then it is through what you are doing that people would give a testimony about your actions. If people cannot testify about what you are doing, and you are the one who have to say that, oh, we are sending people to school, that looks manipulative. It is conny. So for me not to waste your time on that, because it seems as if I've deviated, churches might be good. Some churches, I can't say that much, but Nigerian churches, because it's rare for you to see a pastor. Some of them will tell you that God told them not to come back to Nigeria. So after they've established big churches here in Africa, God told them not to come back. For example, let's talk about Krisoya Kilome. Krisoya Kilome was a pastor, and he has been started in Nigeria, and he was growing. But when I begin to observe something, Pastor Yakilome always release Rhapsody of Reality to Nigerians. They share the book worldwide. Ever since this man has started moving with the white people, you would rarely look at Rhapsody of Reality and you will find black people in the pictures. It is white people everywhere. So the question is this: is he worshiping God and taking care of all the general people? Because we understand that blacks are the most populated people on earth. So why is it that in every Rhapsody of Reality, it is the white people that are much inside the books? A book that they always share every month. Why? That's why I tell people, the truth cannot be bent until we are completely honest. I'm not saying God does not exist. God does exist. Even it is only a fool that will say God does not exist. But I'm saying there's an institution called churches, and that institution is extorting the Africans because it wasn't meant for us. In fact, God, according to the Bible, was upset with the Egyptians. Egypt are Africans. Would you agree with me? So if Egypt are Africans, when Egypt were holding the Israelites captive for 430 years, God was upset with them. And God wanted to liberate them. And God said, let them go. And when the people left the land of Egypt, God did not go back to Egypt to fight anybody. It is even the Israelites that were going back to Egypt. Now, sometimes I begin to think something when I look at the situation. I'm like, is it that Africans has actually colonized certain people and now we are paying the price? That's the reason why most of the Western people are now enslaving us psychologically. They've enslaved us physically before. Now, mentally, Now, psychologically, maybe what we sow is what we are reaping. Now, I can't say about that. But the situation is that even while we are going through the karma, if there is actually a karma done by Africans and we all are now paying the price for it, at least we should be able to use sense so we don't destroy ourselves while going through the punishment. And that's why I'm talking about the protest. That's why I'm talking about the government. That's why I'm talking about the people. And my problem with Nigeria as a people is that when we make a decision that we want to fight for our country, we are not being specific on the areas at which we actually want to deliberate on. And if there was a deeper thought before Nigeria deciding to strike and to protest, we wouldn't have gone for minimum wage. We would have gone for the deduction of fuel. If the fuel price was 200 naira and we can bring it back to 150 or 120, Nigeria would increase. Even if you're collecting 20,000 naira, people will still be able to survive. But we went for minimum wage for it to, and the government knows that we are not doing our due diligence, we are not doing debate, we are not thinking as a people. So once they increase it, then they increase the fuel price. What's the difference? And that's the reason why I'm not participating in the protest. Because whatever lacks senses, complete senses, oh, we can't know everything, but at least an average of 50% of thinking before doing certain things, I don't want to associate myself with it. Because I know at the end of the day, whatever you do out of emotion, you will regret it. Even if you're doing what is right. If Nigerians are protesting because they are going through the turmoil that they are going through, yes, they have the right to protest, but are they doing it with intelligence, logical, or are they doing it due to emotion? Anything you do with emotion, be it good or bad, you would regret it. That's the structure of life. That's a principle of life. If you have money with you and you think out of kindness, you feel like giving and you give, you might give too much and you will regret of. If out of emotion, because somebody gets you upset, you say negative words, you would regret it because you didn't do a lot of thinking before you speak. So mankind, emotion is what makes us human beings, but it is not where we need to make certain decisions on. You don't make decisions with emotion to make decisions. But Nigerians currently, we are being emotional, and that is why whenever you are very emotional without doing a lot of thinking, it is easy for people to manipulate your emotion, and that's what the government is doing to us. In a nutshell, I appreciate those of you who have joined me. If you haven't subscribed, Biko, subscribe to my channel. I need to come down from the mountain that I found myself. I did it for you. So if I fall now, you will not send hospital money. The best thing you can do is to subscribe. Hopefully, I will talk to you guys tomorrow or next tomorrow, Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you all for joining me. See you in the next episode. Past Prophet Emmanuel Jewel. If you believe in God and you want to do what is right, just continue whatever you're doing. God is going to reward you. But let us speak the truth whenever we see the truth. See you in the next one. Have a blessed day. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.